Hello everybody, it's Ruth here at Artful Stampin with a slightly kind of different one sheet wonder today. I was just having a quick look on Pinterest earlier and came across the most gorgeous Fimo earrings, Fimo polymer clay earrings, and I'd seen things similar before. Sorry, excuse my little bit of rubbish to the side of here, this is left over from the other day. And it's where people create, they roll out a sheet of polymer clay and then they put little bits into it and then cut out shapes from it. And apparently this is like all the rage at the moment in photopolymer, or not photopolymer, polymer clay world, Fimo. Someone I know who used to be a demonstrator called Val Moody, on her Instagram she was sharing some earrings that she'd made. And then it just so happened I looked on Pinterest today and saw a pair of earrings that I was like, that is so pretty, I would wear those because they've got florals in them. But the actual earring like dangle bit was like it must be quite big. Well, unless they work so minutely that I don't know. Anyway, then I thought, what about if we made jewellery out of paper? And there is a blog stroke Instagram feed that I follow called, I think it's called All Things Paper, and they share some rather unique creations out of paper. Sometimes they share giant stuff, they share quilling, jewellery, obviously paper jewellery, and I just had a quick look on there, and there are people who make jewellery from paper and card, and even if you just do a quick scan on Pinterest, if you just type in paper jewellery tutorial, there are people who've made jewellery out of scrapbook paper because it's so pretty, yeah? Which is kind of understandable. So I thought, right, let's think this through. Let's see if we can have a play with this. So I've not pre-planned this. This is just going to be me and you having a little bit of a play, see what you guys think, and see if this can actually be done. So just a quick welcome and hello to everybody who's come on in. Hi Deb, Sheila, Vanessa, Vicky, Sue, Jacqueline, Cindy. Oh, where's my chat gone? Live chat. There we go. Melanie, Rhonda. Is that it? I think that's everybody. So if you're new to my channel, please do say a shout out, put a comment. If you're watching this on the replay, hello. And actually, if you are watching this now, this is the replay. Because you won't be able to comment live. Obviously, those of you who are watching me live, you know I'm live. Hi, I'm Troy's mum. Oh, okay. Nice to meet you. I think I know who you are. So what was I saying? Right, so in the past, the only experience I've had with making paper waterproof was by using the discontinued crystal effects that Stampin' Up used to sell. And this was fantastic stuff because you could put a clear lacquer over your card or paper and it would actually remain slightly flexible, which was really handy, and that would kind of make your piece waterproof. Then they came out with the fine tip glue pen, which is this here, and I did do an experiment a very long time ago to find out what the difference was between the two. And I found that with the fine tip glue pen, you ended up with a very similar lacquer. However, it seemed that this was runnier and therefore I would presume a higher water content. And so it then made the ink run a little bit. So you ended up with a slightly coloured result rather than just a clear one. Okay. However, I don't know if I did it directly after stamping. So I thought, let's have an experiment on a sheet that I stamped a few days ago, because this is like properly dry now. It's been sitting here on my desk for a few days. This is properly dry. How about we have a go on that? Then my other thought was to use ink that I know is fairly waterproof. So I was going to use the Memento Black ink and then colour it in with alcohol pens and then see how that would work. So I've got various ideas up my sleeve. I have thought it through a little bit, but not actually had a go. So you're joining me for this experiment. I also grabbed out, I've got circle punches, of which I have many, and also just some alternative shapes. I thought this kind of like label die, that would look quite cool as an earring. Oh, can you guys see that? Sorry, the lighting. This is quite a nice shape. So I'm going to just cut out, shock horror, I'm going to punch into this. I've also got these other ones that I did the other day, but I think that this one would probably make really pretty earrings. So I'm thinking, and I don't mind them being different. I want them, each earring, to be different because they will look similar because we've got the similar colour scheme, but they will be different, which it's not a bad thing. There we go. Right, so let's get rid of, let me make this background a bit cleaner for you so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to cut that out and then let's see if I can get one with more flower in it. Oops, not that one. Try that there. And snip that away. Oops. That there. Okay. So then I'm going to experiment now by putting this fine tip glue all over it. Now, I have to confess, the nozzle on this one has clogged up, so it's a bit tricky. My 70th birthday is not going as planned today. My husband had stress test yesterday and so has to have an angiogram today instead. Oh no! Oh, Vanessa! Oh, happy birthday! Sorry, it's been a bit of a rough day. That really is quite rough. Oh no, got to put a hole in it. Hold on. Let's put some holes in this first. Oh, big love. Big hugs and love to you. You guys are right. Is this in focus? I'm just realising it might not be in focus. Right, I'm going to punch a hole in this now because I'm thinking it would be quite good to put a eyelet on this later. Right. It's all a bit of an experiment. Let's see if this works. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. So I'm thinking, oh, I should have worn my glasses for this, of putting a layer of glue all the way around the edge. And with this, you can kind of squeeze it and push it towards the edge. And do a ring around there. Go around the edge there. Oh, I really should have worn my glasses. Have I got a spare pair in here? No, that's not my spare pair. My sunglasses, that's not going to help. Oh, never mind, keep going, Ruth. Right. Can you zoom in so we can see the close-up? Good idea. How's that? There we go. Right. So, I wish I could do that with my eyes. Do a close-up with my eyes. I might get my husband to go and see if they mind my bed upstairs. Oh, would they? Is it super bright with you? Okay, so I filled in the edge and now I'm just... Oh, I've got some sort of lump in this. It's not flowing anymore. if I can get this back in. Unclog it a bit. Oh yeah, that's flowing again now. Oh, it did for a second and then... Right, I'm going to cheat. I've got some in this bottle that I'm just going to literally pour on. And then use this to mix around. Now, obviously this is not going to be ready tonight, but I'm going to start the process tonight and then maybe come back to you tomorrow and see the results. Then the other idea I did have for making earrings was to actually just cut a few layers of cardstock out of one shape and then stick them together to make them quite thick. And I thought, what a cool way we could also use some of the more ornate dies. You could cut a few out and layer them up. So, oh, you know what, I'm just going to use my finger. It's easier. You see, already I can see this is slightly going dull, but I'm not sure if this is because of the lighting and whatever. And it's slightly bending a little bit because I think it's the water content in this that's doing that. And my fear is then it's actually going to dry in a slightly shaped form, which might not be a bad thing, I guess. It's funny because I can see through my screen that there are some imperfections in the... It doesn't look level. Like as I'm looking at it, it looks all lovely and shiny, but as I'm looking at it from your point of view, I can see that perhaps it's not even. Oh, this might just... You see, in theory, this would be such a lovely idea, wouldn't it? To be able to stamp our own jewellery. But if anyone can suggest a quicker way of doing this, I am thinking spray varnish. That's the other option, isn't it? At the end of the day, we could just spray the varnish on. The shimmery crystal effects would work. Oh, I have it. I have it, Vicky. It would just be a bit glittery, wouldn't it? If you add the clear coating to both sides, less coat. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I could possibly hang it, but then before it dries, it will drip because it is quite liquidy, this stuff. Yeah, have you guys suggested other stuff? No, you're just chatting to yourselves. Very focal. You know what? That's not a bad idea. Okay, I'm going to stop there because this is a bit boring for you guys to watch. Now, I'm sure I have some varnish somewhere. Let's see if I have some... Oh, no, I'll leave that ready for you to see. Let's pull out. There we go. Let me see if I can find in a box of stuff. Oh, yes, polyurethane varnish I have here. Clear satin. I should probably do this outside. Solvent abuse can kill instantly. Yes, remember that, guys. Not a good idea to... Right, the only thing is, I haven't used this for absolutely years. And I bet the nozzle's a bit clogged up. Have I tried Mod Podge? No, I haven't got any. I used to have it years ago, so I could do with maybe ordering some and trying again. Let me just see if I can get this varnish to work. Don't spray myself. No, I won't. Makes a cool musical instrument, doesn't it? Right, let's get a bit of scrap. I'm only going to do a little spray because I don't want to... It's not good for me. Right, let's get the lid on because I can see this stuff flying across my desk. Ooh, ooh, bit mucky. Right, let's see if I can get this back in. So the fine tip glue pen is still sold by Stampin' Up. We're still waiting the EU to allow us to have it though. They were just doing new labels for the product. But it is a product that Stampin' Up still do carry, even though it's not quite available just yet. Right, I'm only going to do a little bit because I'm not really meant to do this indoors. Ooh. That doesn't sound very hopeful, does it? Let's see if I can find a pin. I usually have some pins to the side of me. Ooh, a bit of a blob came out. No. Embossing powder. That's a great idea. Right, I'm giving up on the varnish because it's not working. It's such a shame because there's loads still left in here and I can't get it out. If anyone's got any tips for how you clean your oh, hold on, I'm just taking my nozzle out. See, that feels quite clean. No. Soak it in hot water. Okay, I'll have to try that one. Right, let's go to the embossing. Now, I do actually have some extra thick embossing powder. Is it called UT? Ultra thick embossing powder. Yes, UT. From years ago when I started doing this more mixed media stuff. So, let me get my Versamark out. See if I can find it. No, I don't think I can. Let's see if I can find the clear stuff. What's that? No, that's glitter. No, I can't have that. Actually, I've got a feeling I needed to order some more of the clear stuff. Right, where's my UT? I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Here it is. Chunky embossing crystals. That's it. I'm going to find my heat tool and plug it in. Sorry about this, guys. A little bit unorganised today. Right, let's have a go at doing this instead. So, I'm going to get the... Oh, I tried to keep this as clean as possible, but... Right, I'm just going to push that into there. And what if I get one of these, get tweezers and dip it in my crystals. Silicone matte, because otherwise it's going to just stick, isn't it? So this is when your silicone matte comes useful, because there's kind of crystals above it and below it, so Right, I better read some of your comments. Oh, clear nail varnish. That's a good idea. Right, so this is ultra thick stuff, so it's not as fine as the Stampin' Up. It's not as fine as the Stampin' Up. But it's because this stuff is designed to get quite thick. Like, you can get these little melt things, these little devices that you plug in, and it melts the UT. And then you can like actually dip it in it. Oh, this is sticking to me. This is useless, that one. Oh dear. Open the window. Oh, I daren't. It's so cold. Do you think I should? It's alright, it's not smelling, this stuff. Right, so then I'm doing the other side now. Dip that in. It's alright, it's not too bad, this. I've got my door open. Okay, so the only thing about heating it on that both sides is that, oh, open a window for the spray. Yeah, well, the spray didn't work, so. Right. So, right, so I'm just going to cool it down because I don't want it sticking to there. There we go. Right, so now I think ooh, gold and silver. Oh, see you, Steph. She's got to go and sort herself out. Okay, hopefully she'll come back. Right, so I'm just doing that whole process again. Get it really poked in. Now, I remember the first time being introduced to this technique, and this guy was then stamping into the hot UT and then leaving an impression in it, and then going over it with like gilding, like rub stuff. It was so cool. And then he would like sprinkle different coloured embossing powders onto it as well. That was, oh, ouch. That was kind of my first introduction to more multimedia, not multimedia, mixed media type stuff. It does get quite hot. Right, then do the other side. I think this is going to be a pendant, not a pair of earrings at this rate, because it's quite a process. Oh, I wonder if I could just hold on to it and do it like that. Although it might drip down. Oh well, let's just see what happens. Did ever have one of those like melty things? I can't remember what they were called now. It was like a little little bath that you put your embossing powder in, and then you drop things into it. I'm sure Tim Holtz used to do it. Just a little bit uneven on that side. Okay, let's just... trying to make it a little bit more even, the melt, if that makes sense. Because weirdly, it shows up, as I said before, it shows up better on my screen that I'm watching my video on, because the lighting from up there just seems to show up all the lumps and the bumps a bit better. Like me looking at it here directly, I can't see it. Okay, I'm very tempted just to put a few little sprinkles of gold on top of that. Just going to do it, pick up a little bit of gold with my snips and just sprinkle that on. Oh, it's not very obvious. Should I do a bit more? Yeah, it is quite thick stuff. Right, let's give that a blow. Oh yeah, close up I can see the gold. It's really pretty. Just move it. I was trying to move it to a cooler spot. You could almost do with a gun with a cool setting. Actually, I remember. Oh gosh, it's all coming back to me now. I mean, we're talking over 10 years ago, really, that I bought this stuff. We used to sprinkle more of this stuff on, just to get a really good kind of coverage. Yeah, I remember going to my little town of Welshpool. Rarely has any kind of, I wouldn't say it ever has had since this event I went to, any craft events where you have stamps and stuff for sale. I mean, we do have a little craft shop now, a craft art studio that I go and do workshops at. But I remember going to this event at our sports centre, and for the first time really kind of coming across stamps and embossing powders and stuff like that. And I remember spending about £100 in one day, and I was like, oh my goodness, that's so much money. But I just loved all the, I bought the embossing powder, and I can't remember even I bought a heat gun that day. I can't remember. Yeah, it was really cool, and that kind of got me started on all some of this stuff. I see there's a bit there that needs melting. I can see it. Yeah, melting pot, Steph. Oh, you put a tea light underneath it. I thought you plugged it in. Right. I don't know if you guys can see the little flecks of gold. Oh, I remember the other thing we used to do was like throw glitter into it as well. See, this is a bit uneven on that side. I still think I need to find a better way of doing this. I'm not convinced. This is too much work. There's a thick bit at the bottom. Yeah, you definitely need to keep it flat because there's a thick ridge down here now where it's kind of like gone. So when you're heating the one side, it is melting the other because it looks awful wet on the silicone mat. Yeah, this is all embossing powder melted in. Yeah, look, it's, oh look, that's what embossing powder is when it's heated. It's basically plastic, isn't it? Let's face it. Let's be really honest about it. Embossing powder is a form of plastic. It's the great kind of shameful secret of the craft industry, isn't it? That we actually are putting plastic onto our cards. Isn't it? Throw glitter onto embossing glue, then add. Throw glitter to embossing glue. Do you mean embossing ink? Yeah, it's not. I think the issue for me is the weight as well. If there was a way of transferring a stamped image onto a piece of glass or acrylic, or you can get these like acrylic mount things that you can, like domes. Tim Holtz does them, doesn't he? Those kind of like domey things. That would be cool, wouldn't it? I'm not suggesting you stick an acrylic block on a thing, but you know what I mean. Yeah, you're right, it is melting it. Okay, right. So that's, oh, that's this is never going to work because I keep touching it. And this is interest. Oh, is that? Did I actually stamp purple? I can't remember what I did. I was just about to say, oh, it's turned that colour purple, but I can't remember if I did. Put card between laminating sheets. Yeah, I suppose I could laminate it. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't use lilac with this stamp, but look, the glue has changed the colour and also it's lost the definition. Can you see? Look. The definition of the actual stamp has gone. So this is the heat embossed one, the clear one. And then this one is the fine tip glue pen. So you can see how it definitely interferes, the liquid, the water in the glue must interfere with the ink and start spreading it around. So it's a very softening effect, if you like that, if you want that effect, but it does do that. Yeah, I'm still not convinced by this. Back to the drawing board. It's all a bit powdery here. Right, I think I'm ready to give up. Not give up, but you know what I mean. I'm ready to move on, and I fancy just doing a bit of stamping. How about we do that? If I close off this broadcast, tidy up a bit, and then come back and do some stamping. Or I'm just going to have to concede and get some Fimo. Now, it's funny, actually, because my a really good friend of mine who lives in my town, she home educates, and her daughter has started making these adorable little I keep saying polymer clay fairies, and my daughter's really good friends with her daughter and has been having a go doing it herself. So I'm thinking of getting my daughter some clay for Christmas. So I think I'm just going to have a play with her stuff when it comes, because that's what started this whole idea off, was seeing it done in photopolymer clay. Ooh, I wonder if we can stamp onto polymer clay. Fimo. If we could stamp onto Fimo, then varnish it. Yes. Right, we'll just have to experiment with that, won't we? My melting pot was old though, bought it in the late 90s from QVC. Oh my goodness, yes. Those were the days. The QVC heydays. Silicone that you mix like a thin layer of resin. Yeah, you can. Oh, Shrinky Dink. Yeah, no, I've done Shrinky Dink as well. Yeah, that is an option. The only thing is that when you stamp on Shrinky Dink with water-based inks, it then runs the risk of, once fluid gets on it, of it kind of smearing. So, yeah, there we go. Oh well, it just was, I wanted to have a play doing it, and it was, you know, nice to have your company. If anyone is watching this on the replay and has got any fine ideas for me of how I could make jewellery out of my stamped images, I'd love to have a go, because it's just like another way of using the art form of stamping, really, which, you know, we're always on the lookout for, aren't we, of ways to use it. I'm going to have to give this a good clean because it's all a bit crusty now. So there we go. Right, thank you so much for your company. If you don't already subscribe, then please check out my other videos. You might prefer those. This isn't the best example of one of my videos, but I hope you've enjoyed the fun and the camaraderie. And I'll catch you on another video. So take care. Blend pens for stamp on Shrinky Dink. Yes, my daughter's had a go doing that. That's worked very well. She likes colouring in. She puts the clear Shrinky Dink stuff over images of fairies, then colours them in, and then she shrinks them. She colours them in with the blends, and they look awesome. Really, really good. So yeah, that is an option. I have made Shrinky Dink earrings from Stampin' Up inks. Stamps. They do look amazing because they're like little miniature versions. Actually, I do have, and I have shown you this, probably last year, a friend of mine made a keyring, and she, I don't know if you can see that. What does it say? Do something creative every day, and then she coloured it in. And then, it says Ruth on there. Ruth on there. Yeah, but that was kind of cool. You can make these cool little charms then for. And that is that punch. Gosh, that's amazing, isn't it? That punch creates that tiny. Look at that. Look how small that is. I love watching the Shrinky Dink stuff because you just think, how on earth did you get that so small? But it looks fabulous. Look at that. She did an R on my keyring for me. So creative. Oh, and actually, I did get from a swap. I'm just going to show you this that somebody did. I think she must have used some sort of crystal effects stuff. She stamped and then put that over the top, and then she backed it with some felt. I think it feels like felt, and made a little pendant. But I think it was on like a little, not a chain, but like a thread thing, and it just feels quite flimsy. That's the only thing. It does feel a little bit almost too light. I know earrings don't have to be super, super heavy, but it almost needs a little bit more substance to it. So Yeah, either an acrylic dome or I'm going to try stamping on Fimo. Fimo. Do you say Fimo or Fimo? Anyway, right, I'll catch you guys in a minute. I'm just going to go off and get some stamps. Anyone got any ideas for what stamps to use? We love you here in Florida. My sister Shelley Damon made me watch you. Now I enjoy your videos. Oh, thank you. Stampin' Up blends are alcohol-based markers. They could do. Yes. There we go. Well, welcome. Anything floral. Okay, Steph. If I must. Ride with me. Oh, I do have ride with me. Yes. We could do floral horses. Yeah, we could do something. Okay, I'll see you guys in a minute. Take care for now. Bye. Lots of love.